In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to create a photoreal mountain cliff in Cinema 4D. We'll build a rugged cliff using two core approaches, a fast, fully adjustable procedural method, and a more detailed route that combines external terrain generation with Cinema 4D's native tools. Along the way, we'll layer realism with scattered rocks and vegetation, apply photoscan materials, and finish with lighting in Octane and a clean polish in Photoshop. Let's start procedurally for speed and control. Begin with a subdivided plane as your base and add a displacer deformer. Drive that displacer with a noise shader, increasing the global scale to form the broad silhouette of the cliff. Stack or blend multiple noises to introduce secondary detail, such as striations and broken ledges. If the forms feel too smooth, increase geometry or leverage material displacement for fine relief at render time. Keep an eye on contrast and mid-level values in the noise so you maintain steep faces without creating harsh artifacts, and mask areas with additional shaders to keep the top flatter and the face more vertical. For a higher fidelity result, generate terrain externally and refine it in Cinema 4D. Tools like World Creator make it easy to craft believable cliffs with erosion. Export a height map or mesh, bring it into Cinema 4D, and align the scale so it feels grounded. You can still layer a subtle displacer on top to break up repetition and add unique character. To get that layered, natural look, use a cloner to scatter rocks and vegetation. Place your rock assets in a cloner set to object mode and distribute them across the cliff surface. A random or plane effector with fields gives you variation in scale and rotation while keeping placements believable. Consider a density falloff so vegetation thins out on steep faces and gathers on shelves. Use multi-instances for performance if you're scattering heavily. Photorealism hinges on great materials. Apply photoscan PBR materials, making sure your albedo, roughness, normal, and displacement maps are correctly assigned and physically scaled. If UVs are tricky on organic shapes, try triplanar projection to avoid stretching. Balance roughness and specular values so rock reads matte with occasional subtle sheen. For lighting in Octane, start with an HDRI for soft, global ambiance and add a sun or daylight rig to carve out directional shadows that emphasize cliff contours. Dial exposure and white balance for a natural, slightly cool daylight look, and consider a touch of depth of field for scale. Finally, export to Photoshop and add gentle contrast, color balance, a hint of atmospheric haze, and restrained sharpening to unify the image without overprocessing.